Welcome back, Diecast racing fans. I'm Jay, one of the hosts with Vittoria Diecast Motorsport, and you are tuning in to our Modified JDM Tournament. We're about to kick off Groups 7 and 8 in our qualification stage. These are the last two groups in this stage competing. So we'll start with Group 7. Here are the drivers from left to right. You have Puff, you've got Strike, King Jester, and the Hunster on the far right in that Toyota. So let's take a look at our updated bracket. You can see we have 4 more slots to fill for our quarterfinals. There's a reminder on our rules. Tiebreaker determined by the best lap time, of course. And the reminder on scoring here. So let's kick off race 1. Puff in that blue Acura with the pole position here. And there they go. Puff still leading this race around turn 3 there as they round Jesus Saves Corner. There goes Puff, still leading. Strike with a slide. And they finish in the order they started, and Puff with a sub 12-second lap time. So well done, Puff. 5 points awarded to him. He is our number 7 seed in this tournament based on the time trial. Let's take another look at the action. You can see Strike tries to make a move on Puff right there, but Puff just has the speed, even with some slides there. I have a feeling that Acura is going to be tough to beat. He is the top seeded car in this group, so I would expect to see those sub 12-second times and wins out of Puff. And there's King Jester blocking Hunster right at the line, maintaining third. All right, here's race 2. The Hunster in that Toyota up front in the pole position. And they take off. Puff right away makes a move on the Hunster and gets by. Puff leading this race comfortably. Wow, way ahead. Oh, and spins out. Strike gets by, Hunster gets by, and King Jester gets by Puff. Puff ends up in last place. Who had that one? Oh no. So Strike earns the 5 on that one, is now in first place in this group. Here's another look at the action. Puff makes a great move there, just pure speed on that second straight, ends up getting by the Hunster at turn 2, is still leading here, has a sizable lead rounding the pond there. You can see the rest of the group is way behind. Then gets loose out of the final corner, comes to a stop on the final straight. Strike gets by, Hunster slams into him, King Jester gets by as well. So Puff goes from first to last in that race. Here's race 3, King Jester in the front left. There they go. Puff makes a move on Hunster. Oh, we've got a pile up. Puff is now leading. It's Puff and King Jester out front. Can King Jester get by? No. Puff's going to win this one. Hunster comes to a stop on the final straight. Strike gets by. Hunster drops from 3rd to 4th on the final straight. So that's 2 in a row. We've seen cars not be able to handle that final straight. It's that exit out of the final corner. Right now, Puff at the top of the board with Strike only 1 point off. There's Puff making the move on Hunster, clips Jester, and then the group piles up. Puff ends up getting out front. Hunster gets shoved onto the rail there, ends up getting off the rail, is stuck on the rail again, and Strike gives him a little bit of help to get off the rail once again. And there's Puff and King Jester out front after Hunster and Strike end up battling a little bit. And then here comes Hunster, just loses the back end of the car out of the final straight, and Strike is able to get by and pick up some more points as a result. So here we go, race 4. It's going to come down to this to see who is going to qualify. Strike with the pole position here. King Jester gets loose out of turn 2. Puff is on the rail, DNF'd, who is leading right now in points. Strike comes across the line with a really quick time. King Jester spins out on the final straight. Hunster gets by. Puff is DNF'd. Oh, what a bunch of chaos in this race. We're going to need to go to the replay to break this down, and I can't wait to see what this all does to the scoreboard. Strike earns 5. Hunster is going to get 3 in that one. Here's another look at the action. Puff ends up getting by Hunster there to pick up 3rd, but then runs into King Jester. Tries to get by King Jester here on the inside, but ends up getting shoved onto the rail by King Jester, causing him to DNF. Now you can see Strike is leading this race. Meanwhile, with all the commotion happening behind him, puts up a great track time too, by the way. And then another spin out of the final corner. King Jester this time the victim. Hunster gets by. And there you have it. Strike and Puff are going to advance. Well done to both of them. So that means we need to say goodbye to King Jester and the Hunster. Thank you both so much for competing in our event. And congratulations again to Strike and Puff. We'll see them in the quarterfinals. Now, here's Group 8. You've got Terrence Jr. on the left, followed by Mr. Dark, Richie Cole, and Deacon on the far right. Beautiful lineup of cars here. So we had a lot of action in Group 7. What will Group 8 show us? Let's find out. Here's race 1, Terrence Jr. with the pole. And the group takes off. Looks like Terrence still leading here, followed by Mr. Dark. Terrence pulling away now. Terrence is way ahead of the group. Terrence Jr. sub 12, followed by Mr. Dark, Richie Cole, and Deacon. So they finish in the order they started. No surprise there based on our time trial seating. So Terrence Jr. kicks things off with 5 points. Well done. And a nice track time too. Here's another look at the action. You can see here they're pretty close out of turn 2. Mr. Dark goes side to side there. That allows Terrence Jr. to really pull ahead. Mr. Dark actually got loose there out of turn 4. Probably held up the rest of the group. That gave Terrence Jr. a huge margin of a lead. And actually Mr. Dark spun out there, but was able to recover and finish in 2nd place. So well done, Terrence Jr. 5 points awarded. Race 2, Deacon with the pole position. And they take off. It's Deacon still leading. Terrence Jr. gets by Deacon right at turn 3. Mr. Dark spins out, holds up Richie Cole. It's Terrence Jr. followed by Deacon, Mr. Dark, and Richie Cole. Terrence Jr. cracks 12 seconds once again. So Terrence Jr. pulling away from this group in points, has 10 points, has a 5-point lead over 2nd place, which is held by Mr. Dark right now. Deacon was leading here pretty nicely, but you can see swerves to the left, giving Terrence Jr. that opening, and Terrence Jr. capitalizes on it. Great move. Mr. Dark is loose out of power plant. That's turn 5. Holds up Richie Cole, and Terrence Jr. and Deacon end up separating from this group. Mr. Dark and Richie coming across the line there. So well done to Terrence Jr., who is pulling away from this group, like I said. Here's race 3, Richie Cole in the front left. And the group takes off. Deacon gets by Richie Cole. So does Terrence Jr. Sneaks it in. The group gets bunched up a little bit. Deacon leading here. Wow. So Deacon and Terrence Jr. make the move. I believe that was on Richie Cole. Deacon really needed those points there. Terrence Jr. still leading with 13, but Deacon has 9 now. Let's take a look at that pass on Richie Cole. You can see Deacon's position there to get by. Does, and Terrence Jr. sneaks in and gets by Richie Cole as well. And look at this. Terrence Jr. gets loose out of power plant, but is able to defend against Richie Cole, who kind of ping-pongs between Terrence and Mr. Dark. And there they go crossing the line. So not quite a sub 12, but a respectable time for Deacon. Final race, Mr. Dark with the pole position. And Mr. Dark still leading. Ooh, gets sideways. I saw Richie Cole on the rail, but recovered. Mr. Dark leading nicely, who needs the points, and he wins. Followed by Deacon, Terrence Jr., Richie Cole spins out of turn 7, ends up DNFing on the final straight. We've seen this. Group 7 showed us that quite a bit. So Mr. Dark, who really needed the points, was in 3rd in points prior to this race, ends up winning here. Here's Mr. Dark, though, getting sideways out of turn 2, causes a massive pileup, but ends up benefiting out of it and pulls away from the rest of the group as a result. So Mr. Dark, well done in that Mazda RX-7, picks up 5 points. Will it be enough? Deacon did get 2nd, and Terrence Jr. got 3rd, so let's see what the scoreboard says. Oh, Mr. Dark misses out by a single point and actually has a better lap time than Deacon. So that's really unfortunate for Mr. Dark. If he had even tied Deacon, he would have advanced. So congratulations to Terrence Jr. and Deacon. We'll see him in the quarterfinals. So long to Mr. Dark and Richie Cole. There's our updated bracket, all 16 of our quarterfinalists. We'll have quarterfinals group 1 and 2 next. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next time here on Vittoria Diecast Motorsport.